So I get a little camera shy. I'm Shane, and sing for Silverstein.
Alright. Of course, where does the band originate from?
Burlington, Ontario, Canada.
And how is Canada different from the U.S.?
Colder. More liberal. Less Christian, I guess. Two of the main things.
Alright, so how was a tour thus far? Seems like y'all are having a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been awesome. We got a great group of dudes. Bless the Fall, we shared a bus with them in Europe, and they're awesome kids. We call them the kids table, because we shared the bus and they kind of hang out and call it the kids table. They're so much younger than we are. And this new band, Before Their Eyes, were really nice kids too. And Norma Jean had to go home, unfortunately, for some family stuff, but we, our old friends in Static Lullaby came in to replace them, and
oh, nice.
It's awesome. It's great. So
yeah.
we get along really well with them. So it's been a lot of fun. The shows have been great, and it's just been a really positive experience so far.
All right. Any pranking going on yet? You know?
No. There's been no pranking. The closest yesterday was the guy from Before Their Eyes was pretending to be a super fan and told me to sign his poster. So I wrote Before Their Eyes loves dudes and my name. I don't know. It's like literally that's the closest thing.
Y'all are all mature and.
No, we're not mature. It's still kind of early on.
Okay, gotcha.
It's usually the end of the tour pranks is when it happens.
What do y'all usually do then? What have y'all done on one of your other tours?
We've done all kinds of stuff. We've lit fireworks on people's vans while they were driving. And there's been all kinds of stuff like putting stuff on people's vans. Sometimes we'll go on stage and do something ridiculous. At Bless the Fall, actually, when we toured with them last time, they brought a couch on our stage in the middle and just hung out and ate chips on the stage. It's kind of a funny one.
How do you guys feel knowing that you have 500,000 in record sales so far?
We got more than that, actually.
More now? All right. How's that? How do you feel?
Cool. It's really not something that I think about very much.
Yeah.
But it is kind of weird for you to say it and me to kind of look around me and be like, yeah, I'm on a bus right now, and just to think about kind of how far we've come.
Yeah.
And we started out as about the smallest band you could ever be. I mean, we didn't even think we didn't even know, if we were going to play a show, let alone record anything.
Yeah. Let
alone tour. We just did this band for fun. It was just a side project, nothing serious, and then it became obviously serious.
Big.
And here we are, and it is pretty amazing that we have sold that many records, especially nowadays, because it seems like a lot of big bands don't really sell that many records anymore. So
yeah, it's all downloaded.
Yeah, it's true, and it's pretty crazy to think that we've come so far.
You have your new album out, Shipwreck, in the stands. Let's talk about the writing process. How does that usually happen? Do y'all separate it, or is it all joint effort, or?
There's well, it depends. This record was different because the first 3 records we did were done the same way, which was we get in a room and somebody has a riff and we just kind of write the songs.
Yeah.
And then we write each song, and that's that. We go in the studio, we record each song, and then we figure out later what the track order is going to be and all that stuff. And a lot of the songs, because I play guitar too, I'll just kind of write everything and show everybody the parts. So that happens in some songs.
Okay.
But this time, it was we decided that approach was kind of boring.
Yeah. We
were kind of bored of that, and we decided to write a concept album, which was very challenging. It was something, it's because it's such a different approach.
Yeah.
To write one album that tells a story from start to finish and makes sense. And we wanted to do more than just that. We wanted to have musical themes, recurring themes, and recurring vocals and lyrics and stuff, and transitions between songs. So there was a lot more to prepare for before we went to the studio, rather than okay, we'll just write these songs, record them, and then kind of figure it out later where we're going to put everything.
Yeah.
So it was cool. It was was a lot more hands-on, a lot more interesting, but also a lot more challenging. But I'm really glad we did it.
So what is your concept behind this one? What's the storyline that y'all created?
Well, it's not a simple story. It is a simple story, but there's a lot of underlying things. The story is basically about a family, typical American family that could be from Austin, Texas, or it could be from, you know, wherever, and the problems that they face in their lives, which, yeah, it's like a typical American family with, you know, typical problems, but it's kind of about how all their problems could be prevented and could be fixed if it wasn't for, you know, the way the current system is, you know. And then I'm not talking just American, I'm talking about, you know, the whole world, and how people struggle with things, you know, based on how things are set up. So that's the basic story, and there's a lot more to it, but there's quite a political undertone, which is something we never really done before.
Okay. Well, how does this album differ from your previous Arrivals and Departure? What's like the major difference?
Well, like I said, the approach was completely different, writing process-wise. Recording was different too. We recorded it in Canada at home with the last record we did in California. So it's always a big difference when you go home, you know, to your friends in your own bed, and you know, and kind of do that. It was cool. It was a little bit more mellow. But approach-wise, like, we recorded a lot more stuff. We recorded more tracks and layers of guitar and more vocals, and it's more of a slick record, whereas Arrivals and Departures was kind of more like a rock record.
Yeah.
Which we wanted it to be like that. We wanted it to be a little more stripped down, but it just didn't work as well for our band, I think. So that's the main difference, and I think this record just a little bit more focused.
So do you feel that y'all are ever opening any doors that you shouldn't, like, you know, your lyrics making yourself vulnerable for, you know, any criticism or how your fans would feel about what you're saying?
It's a good question. I think when we did, well, here's the thing, when we did our first record, pretty much all those songs were written before we were on Victory Records. Like, we were still, like I said, the smallest band in the world.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just writing those songs because it was how I felt and what I wanted to say. I didn't ever think about somebody thinking, like, judging me or judging anything. It was just what I wanted to say. I didn't ever think about that. And then once that record, you know, sold like 200,000 copies or whatever, like, you go to write the second one, and it's like, holy shit, like, you know, people are listening this time. And there's a couple songs on Discovering the Waterfront, our second record, which deal with, you know, I guess suicide, some ideas about suicide and stuff like that, which I was kind of like, fuck, maybe I shouldn't say this because I don't want people to take this the wrong way.
Yeah.
But then at some point, I was trying to change it and stuff, and I was like, why the fuck am I trying to change it? Like, I like what I wrote, and this is what I feel, and this is what I've always done. And right there I decided that I'm never going to censor what I'm feeling or what I want to say.
Yeah.
So, like you said, the original question, I forget how you worded it. It was like,
do you ever feel like you're opening a door that you shouldn't?
Opening a door you shouldn't. I mean, maybe, yes, but in a way, like, that's just how the cookie crumbles for me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop what I'm doing or sell myself out lyrically because I'm afraid of what someone's going to think.